In Year 3, children are going to learn to add three-digit numbers using column addition. But before they do that, they need to further develop their knowledge of core skills. So beginning with place value. So if we take 325, children have got to know that they can partition this into 320 and 5, and know that the 5 in this number is worth 5 ones, the 2 in this number is worth 20, and the 3 in this number is worth 300. Then they need to develop their counting skills. They need to be able to count on in ones and tens and hundreds from any three-digit number. So if we had 325, they would need to be able to count on in ones, 326, 327, 328, and so on. They would need to be able to count on in tens, 325, 335, 345, 355, and they would need to be able to count on in hundreds, 325, 425, 525, and so on. And then, of course, they need to consolidate and learn off by heart their addition facts, as mentioned in the previous video. So knowing that 9 and 7 is 16, off by heart. Knowing that 10 and 6 is 16. Knowing that 7 and 4 is 11, and so on. All their number facts up to 20. Now these core skills will put them in a really good place in order to be able to add three-digit numbers using a column addition strategy. So let's start with that. Let's start with the context. If we had 125 boys and 113 girls in a school, how many children would there be altogether? So we call it a column method because we're looking at the columns of hundreds and tens and ones. So that would be 125 added to 113, and we're adding those two numbers together. We'd start by partitioning the numbers out so the children can see all of the parts of that number. So 100 and 20 and 5, and then we'd expand the 113 into 110 and 3, and then we would add that up. 5 and 3 is 8, 20 and 10 is 30, and 100 and 100 is 200. And when we add that up, we'd get 238. 238. Now we'd also back that up with some real apparatus. So I'm just going to move that to the side and replace it with a hundreds, tens and ones grid, where we can use some base 10 or deans. So we've got 125 boys and 110 and 3, 113 girls. Now we can add that up, 5, 6, 7, 8, so we can write an 8 there, 8 ones. Then we've got 10, 20, 30. We'd write that as 3, not as 30, but as 3 tens. And then we've got our 200s, and we write that as 200. So altogether that's making 238. Now this is all fine when the numbers are not crossing the tens boundary, so when the numbers don't go past 9. What happens when you've got two numbers here that go past 9? Because you can only put 9 ones in the ones column. So we need to look at how we exchange or carry those numbers. So let's just change the number up. Let's just change the numbers this time. And we're going to add 165. So I'm just going to increase that to 40, 50, 60, 165, and then we're going to have 176 girls. So 120, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 3 is 76. Let me just check those numbers. We've got 165, I've got 176. Now the problem occurs now that when we add these two numbers together, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've got 11 ones, but we can't write 11 ones in the ones column. The maximum we can have is 9. When it becomes 10 ones, we need to exchange it for a 10. So if we bring these down here, we can then take 10 of these, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and we're going to exchange that for a 10. Place that 10 down there. We're going to carry it, sorry, I haven't got enough room, you can't see that. And that leaves our 1 and our 10, or our 11, placed as 1 in the ones column and 1 10 in the tens column. Now we've got to add our tens together. So we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140. So we've got 14 tens. Now we need to do the same again. We need to exchange 10 of those tens, and we need to replace those 10 tens with 100. So we can get rid of that, and then we're going to carry that into the hundreds column. Sorry, you can't quite see all of that. So that leaves us 40. There's our 140. We've exchanged 10 tens for 100, and then we've left our 4 tens in that tens column there. So then we can add that up, and we've got 3 hundreds in our hundreds column, we've got 4 tens, and we've got 1. So that number is going to be 341. Let me just show you that, how that would look without the apparatus. So bringing back in the whiteboard, just clean that off. And we had 165 boys added to 176 girls. Forgot that for a minute. So how would that look? 165 added to 176. Record it in our columns, put our addition symbol. 5 add 6 is 11. So we put our 1 there, and we carry our 10 in the tens column. Then we've got 6 tens and 7 tens, which is 13, plus the 1 is 14. We've got 14 tens. We can only put 4 tens there, and then we have to exchange and carry the 100 over there. And then we've got our 100, 200, 300. So we end up with 341, as shown with our apparatus before. And that's how we add 3-digit numbers using a column method in Year 3.